As we go, the world just gets crummier. Eat your food. The operating system that I needed, that I still need to finish fixing his computer, went up in price. They pushed out the people selling the used discs for the operating system itself. So most of them are just selling like different drivers and just little things like that for that you normally sell to people who are fixing this stuff for a living, and usually from other people who are fixing this stuff for a living. And they've just pushed out everything but that, and they jacked it up from the range of $40 to $60 for one of the operating systems all the way up to $200 and $300, and the one that was already lower to begin with went all the way up to like $340 for XP. And I'm just like $339 on Amazon for XP. And they already like edged it out, so like places like Fry's Electronics, Windows 10 is the only thing that they sell. Windows 10 doesn't even cost this much. They're really pushing it by trying to make you buy this. They're trying to like enforce it. And all new computers come with it on there. So you can't even get away from it. It's really crummy. And it's not worth that. They just really want people to buy the other thing. And they've pushed out all the people that were selling the used discs. And they're trying to enforce that you can't use it without the code, and even though like this is a regular thing that people do to fix a computer, I cannot fix Chris's computer without a disk. I can't finish it being fixed without a disk. What, brat?
My computer's old.
No, your computer had somebody who had it who didn't know what the heck they were doing, who claimed that they refurbished it. They claimed that they wiped it, and they didn't. They didn't even factory reset it. My grandfather went through it, and he erased some files in there. But then I had to go in there and get rid of some stuff too. And there's still it's all the way down to the fact that this thing had so many Trojans, it's not even funny. And it has, like, stuff is out of it, but there's holes in the system. Because something got in there, a worm got in there, basically. Which is basically a Trojan, except it gets into the core programming. And pokes holes in it, basically. Think of it like this. Two things cannot exist in the same space, and this includes code. So the code for that kind of, like, mixes in with your code for the other stuff, and even if you get rid of it, like, in order for it to be there, it pokes holes and stuff. And it's on my computer where I had gotten rid of it, it's small holes because I got rid of it relatively quickly. On this computer that was given to us for Chris from my grandfather, it's big holes. And it's not safe to even take it online. It's basically, it wouldn't matter if we got any sort of thing for it. It would still be vulnerable. So at this point, it's good for using the writing program and playing pinball.
Mm-hmm.
Could potentially, like, put some programs on there, but it's not good for online because of the holes that are poked in the programming. And the program for him to go to school online, obviously, needs a computer to be online good. So, basically, we're going through and I'm like, well, I don't want to give up my laptop for this, because I need it. I use it for things. And if he ruins it, he's in heck of trouble.
Mm-hmm. Big trouble.
I heard him. Big trouble, and he knows it too. He's still in trouble for how he ended yesterday. But he's been relatively okay today, up until the point he started stomping around and throwing fits.
I'm turning it around.
It's also why you didn't get cheese on your spaghetti. And why there's no dessert after lunch. That chocolate pudding is mine. There's one left. Well, you shouldn't have been stomping around and yelling whenever you didn't get your way. You were the one who was talking back, saying that I'm such a meanie. You know, I'm such a meanie. So, I guess I need to act like one now.
I didn't want you counting down.
I was counting down because you were messing around. It doesn't matter. You were messing around, you weren't supposed to be.
And I asked for a drink.
Yeah, because I didn't want you playing in the kitchen, and you were playing in the kitchen. You have a habit of doing that. You got counted. You ended up going to timeout because you started yelling about it. That's what happens whenever you do stuff like that. I count. And you know that. You ain't never gonna be too old for that. So just remember, stuff you mess around with, we got time limits and countdowns.
Like I'm eating. Like when I'm eating, I have countdowns. I mean, time limits.
Yeah, you can get a time limit. You take long enough. I've already told you, food can't sit out that long. So, yeah, you don't give him a time limit. He'll take over 2 hours to eat. So he needs a time limit. Till he learns to just eat. Sometimes never even needs to come into effect. Other times we need to say, hey, Chris, you got 5 or 10 minutes left, depending on what it is and how long it's been to eat your food. And usually with 5 minutes, he's only got like a couple bites left. So it's not a big deal. Unless he decides to make it one. But yeah. There was a point whenever we told him straight off the bat, you have 15 minutes to eat that.
To eat my spaghetti.
No, I didn't tell you that today. But I'm going to tell you what, you take too long, there will be a time limit. I cut it because we didn't want to deal with him. I didn't want to deal with him playing with it. And then I gave him a spoon because I didn't want to deal with him trying to mess with it with a fork.
Like this, doing this.
Yeah, stop. I don't even want to see that movement from you right now. He was told last night, and he got in trouble for this, not to just scoop it up into his mouth and slurp it. He knows the right way to do it. He's done it that way. But last night he just decided that he was going to pretend like he didn't know that anymore to see if he could get away with it, and he got in trouble for it. He's finding this at school, where if he pretends like he doesn't get something, that the consequences aren't the same at school. So at home we don't play with that. We know what he's capable of. Some of the stuff we taught him and he's done for years. And we don't play that game, do we, Chris? So, yeah. Should you be playing that game at school at all? Okay, you've chewed, you've swallowed. Answer the question again.
No.
You shouldn't be doing that at school?
No.
Say it for the camera. Have you been doing that at school?
No, no, no.
Have you?
Yes. A little bit.
Just a little bit?
And a lot.
Why?
I don't remember.
You can say that all you want, but you've told me plenty of times. Why don't we start with why'd you pretend that you don't know how to write?
Because I'm not a good handwriter.
That has nothing to do with it. It's about practice, not being the best right then. Why you pretend that you can't do it?
Because I make it a little big. And when it's a lowercase, then I don't get to the line. To the dotted line.
Chris, you don't practice, you ain't gonna learn how to do that. Don't scribble on the page. And I've seen your handwriting at school, young man. Don't think I don't know that that's a lot less neat than home. Your dad just said that he could do the school, but not the laptop right now. Oh yes, that's so going to help us.
Done.
Put it in the sink, honey. Still no word on when they're actually going to get it fixed, because on his last check before this one, they shorted him. And they still haven't fixed it. Not that we know of anyway. So, and then they make you wait to even get, like, what they shorted you, so. Yeah. I found him the cheapest, best laptop that I could find. There's a couple tablets that I'm looking at. We just need something that can run a site and do the things that need done for the website. It doesn't have to be expensive.
Like my daddy's. Like
Chris,
my,
it's nap time, isn't it? What do you say?
what?
What do you say? To be excused from the table. What do you say?
Excuse, please.
Yes, you may. Hugs.
Like when I had that computer, it wasn't that expensive.
No, that was still a $70-something computer, Chris.
70?
Why do you think whenever you got that taken away because you weren't treating it well, it went to your dad as something for gaming bugs? Why? Why do you think?
I was ramming myself into.
Yeah. This was the dark ages. This was the dark ages of things.
But now I have a new one.
Yeah, but that one can't go online.
Mhm.
And it needs something that I can't do for it without a disc.
I
And they
never-
jacked up the price of the discs. I don't need a recovery disc. I have to actually do a hard reinstall.
And that won't be fun for Mama.
No, it has Windows 7 on it. And they want insanity is what they want. So go take your nap, honey. It's a Windows 7 laptop, and stop trying to tell me that these things have stopped just because, yeah. So, I can't, like, the disc, literally, they want, like, $200 to $300 for it, and I'm like,
I don't let my toys
Literally. This is insane. It's just insane. Anyway, at school he's getting up from his desk, walking all over the place, and they're not stopping him. And at home, as you can see, what do we say? May I please be excused from the table? You know, it should be the same at school. What do you say before you get up? May I please be excused from my desk? You know, you shouldn't be just getting up walking around. And he just gets away with it because they don't seem to get that, you know, the rules at home, he doesn't do this. He's not getting up, you know, prowling around, you know, from eating or whenever he's doing worksheets or coloring and stuff. You know, he's got his space for that, where he can do, you know, he's got his space where he can freely get up and down. But whenever we're at the kitchen table is where we eat. And it's also where, may I go put my dishes in the sink, you know? May I be excused from the table? You know, he can be a brat. Some days I'm like, he's amazing and all this well behaved. Some days I'm like that, and then others I'm like, I feed him because I have to. And the phone is actually like freezing while I'm doing this. I don't know why, and it's actually just, and I keep on getting this message that stuff is crashing in the background. There's no reason for it. My phone is overheating. Probably something trying to collect information or some shit. So anyway, I just turned off data and it stopped happening. Go figure. So anyway, oh nope, there it goes. It's freezing on me. Anyway, he's getting up at school and just walking around like he owns the place, and they're not stopping him. But at home, it's, may I put my bowl in the sink? Or I'm done, may I put my bowl in the sink? Or, you know, we say, hey, okay, go put your bowl in the sink. You know, it's kind of mutual. Like, if we don't tell him to do it, he'll say, I'm done. May I go put my bowl in the sink? You know, it's, may I get up from the, you know, may I be excused? Can I get up from the table now? You know, am I done now? Can I go? You know, he knows that, you know, he's supposed to verify. But, like, at school, this isn't happening. So, it's been so enforced that school behavior and home behavior were different last year that it's just not happening this year. We're kind of hoping that CPS won't show up at our door the moment that we go to homeschool, or even just knowing that we're going to, because yeah, like, this is an actual fear for both of us. Like, just because we'll be homeschooling. Like, these people use any excuse to get in your lives and stay there. And it's not because people actually need them to be there. A lot of times it's just because they can, and they can get away with it, and that's it. That's why I've learned all the stuff that I have. Because they're terrible. a lot of times they won't even care if you've done anything or not. They just want your kids because funding. That's what happened to me and my kids. They didn't even have anything on me. Nothing on me, nothing to really accuse me of. Everything was just blind generalizations. And there was no specifics even claimed, except that I thought that my cat could turn into a person, and I didn't. I didn't actually think that, and it was actually in the paperwork that I didn't think that. Like, I could actually show that, like, at no point had I ever said this. And then the worker actually started to claim that I had magically just told her all of this stuff. After, like, years and years of history. I've been in the system since I was 6. Yeah. I so much as fart on the wrong day. There's probably a record of it somewhere. You know, you fart in a situation that they deem inappropriate, they'll put that on paper. And they will, it gets insane. So, like, you're actually held to, like, a different standard to the rest of society, and sometimes it gets insane. Like, stuff that is completely normal and that everybody does, you will have, like, villainized as if this is a symptom of something. And it's a double standard. And yes, people have actually been treated that way over farting. It was an example, but yes, people have actually been treated that way over it. There was this one kid, in high school even, who they used to give him so much shit over it. And the truth was that he actually had a problem that made him do that. But because he was in a special class, he used to get sent out of the classroom for farting in the classroom. This would not happen in a regular education classroom. This only happened because it was a special education classroom. And they operate on completely different standards. Everything that is an issue in a special education classroom often isn't in a regular classroom. And the responses are completely different to things. Like, some of the stuff that Chris has done would have had him sent up to the office and suspended for a couple days. Would have had him lunch detentions. They're not doing these things, though, because it's a special classroom. And they're just not handling the behavior, which is part of the problem. Actually, it is the problem. See, at home we handle it. You go to the corner, you spend 5 minutes there, then you're done. You don't get to decide whether or not you go to that corner. You decided whether or not you did that behavior. You know, it doesn't take a lot. That's the thing. It doesn't take a lot. It just takes consistency. What we do at home isn't even groundbreaking. This isn't even like... You have to understand that he went from the kid who threw fits about everything, and what we call a fit now and what was a fit then are two different things. He's not throwing himself in the ground, kicking his feet, and screaming. Occasionally, yeah, this would be completely out of character for him. What he's doing is he's going, "You're such a meanie!" And I'm going, "Get your butt to the corner, because you don't yell at me like that." And we don't see this, like, all summer. And then he starts going to school. And then he starts learning that outbursts get him what he wants, or that that's something that he can use. And that if he angles it right, he gets what he wants. And then he tries experimenting to see if this works at home too. See how he can make it work at home. And that's what we see at home. Every single year whenever he starts school. And this year it's actually not as bad. There are a few times I just didn't want to deal with this teacher, because every time, like, that you admit, like, you told her that this was coming home from school, she would automatically take this as adding credence to what she was saying. And no matter what we were saying, it didn't matter. it was only what she was saying. Only what she was saying matters. Like, they actually tried telling us that, she actually tried insinuating that at school they could even medicate him without telling his dad. Like, she was really pushing the idea that he had ADHD, and it actually wouldn't surprise me if they